Hey guys, what's up? Hitmarthrower here, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. In the last episode, we did the Happy Mask Salesman side quest and got all that out of the way, so we are fully upgraded on everything that can be gotten for, let's see, for slingshot ammo, for Deku Sticks, for Deku Nuts, for bombs, and we are ready to actually advance the plot of the story already. Or of the game, rather. The story of the game, of the plot of the story. Anyway, let's go over here. Now, we actually never visited this spot. You can go and visit here anytime, and it's actually a crucial point both in the story and in the game as well. And this is the Temple of Time. Now, if you came in here beforehand, there wasn't anything you could really do, and there's really only one thing you can do in this area, but it's done relatively frequently throughout the game. So if you check this little pedestal, it says, there are 3 hollows and an inscription here. Ye who owns the 3 spiritual stones stand with the Ocarina of Time and play the Song of Time. That is how the inscription reads. So yes, in order to actually progress this, you'll have to have the 3 spiritual stones, which we do. We have all 3 of them right here. You'll have to have the Ocarina of Time, which we do have. And then you'll also have to have, lastly, the Song of Time, which we have. So, now that we've obtained everything, let's play the Song of Time. I am going to warn you, like I did with the second episode, this is going to have a lot of text dump in it. I said that there was kind of like 3 points in the game where it was pretty bad, not counting the credits and whatnot. This area is going to be kind of the second one. It's not going to be quite as bad as the second video was, but it is going to go on for a little bit, so just bear with me here. And each of the sacred treasures takes their spot. And wouldn't you know it, Door of Time opens, and what could be in here but the one and only the legendary blade of Evil's Bane, the Master Sword. So let's get it, and then go find Ganon and kill him. Oh, he's right there. That ear. You know the other one looks exactly the same. But it turns out, in using the Master Sword, we've actually led Ganon into the Sacred Realm, as he knew that we had the 3 spiritual stones, as well as the Ocarina of Time, so he let us open the door. Well, that's not good. The Chosen One. Well, it's too late now. Ganon already won, man. He got to the Sacred Realm before we did. So is that where the game ends? Far from it. This is pretty much, to me, where the game really gets interesting, where it really begins. Got some hardcore temples coming up. This is where I'm going to be able to start calling them temples instead of dungeons. To me, temple is a more complex dungeon. At least by Zelda standards. And who is this guy? Oh. He's Rauru, one of the ancient sages. Ages ago, we ancient sages built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the Sacred Realm. This is the Chamber of Sages inside this Temple of Light. That's right, the Temple of Time actually is the Temple of Light. So there is no light temple, per se, like not one you actually have to navigate. It does exist, but you don't actually go through it like you would a dungeon. All the other ones you will be, though. The Temple of Light, situated in the very center of the Sacred Realm, is the last stronghold against Ganondorf's evil forces. The Master Sword, the evil-destroying sword that you pulled out of the pedestal of time, was the final key to the Sacred Realm. What do you mean, look at myself? What the heck? That can't be right. Well, it turns out it can. You're big now. You've grown up. The Master Sword is a sacred blade which evil ones may never touch. Only one worthy of the title Hero of Time can pull it from the pedestal of time. However, you were too young to be the Hero of Time. Therefore, your spirit was sealed in here for 7 years. 7 years?! And now that you're old enough, the time has come for you to awaken as the Hero of Time. Well, do you understand your destiny? I guess so. But remember, though you opened the door of time in the name of peace, Ganondorf, the Gerudo King of Thieves, used it to enter this forbidden sacred realm. He obtained the Triforce from the Temple of Light, and with its power, he became the King of Evil. His evil power radiated from the temples of Hyrule, and in 7 short years, he transformed Hyrule into a world of monsters. My power here now only has limited influence, even in this sacred realm, namely this Chamber of Sages. But there is still hope. The power of the sages remains. When the power of all the sages is awakened, the sages' seals will contain the evil power in the void of the realm. I, Rauru, am one of the sages, and your power to fight together with the sages makes you the Hero of Time. The Hero of Time, chosen by the Master Sword. Keep my spirit with you, and find the power of the other sages, and add their might to your own. So, in a less mighty, almighty text dump way, basically, in order to stop Ganondorf now, we need to get all the other sages in our power. We need to get these medallions from them to use their power, and we have 1 of 6 right now, which the first of these is the Light Medallion. You receive the Light Medallion. Rauru the Sage adds his power to yours, and then after getting all the other sages together, we'll be able to take on Ganondorf. Find the other sages and save Hyrule. And to use the quote I was thinking from your body aged 7 years, man, it's about time you woke up. You've been asleep for 4 days. 4 days?! Nah, it's only been a couple hours. If you can name that cartoon, you're awesome. Well, now that that's done, I guess we could head off to the next area we need to go to. We're back in the Temple of Time, but if 7 years really passed, well, this is one of the few areas that doesn't look any different between being adult and being a kid, but it looks like you won't be able to use some of the weapons you found as a kid anymore. Let's get out of here. Yeah, unfortunately that is true. You can't use Deku Sticks, you can't use the Slingshot, you can't use the Boomerang, which sucks. You still have Bombs and Deku Nuts, but that's really about the only things you have aside from your Sword and Shield. At least right now. And who in the heck is this dude? When evil rules all, an awakening voice from the sacred realm will call those destined to be sages who dwell in the 5 temples. 1 in a deep forest, 1 on a high mountain, 1 under a vast lake, 1 within the house of the dead, 1 inside a goddess of the sand. Those are obviously telling you the locations you need to go to for each medallion. Together with the Hero of Time, the awakened ones will bind the evil and return the light of peace to the world. This is the legend of the temples passed down by my people, the Sheikah. I am Sheik, survivor of the Sheikahs. A very fitting name. As I see you standing there holding the mythical Master Sword, you really do look like the legendary Hero of Time. Also, you have a giant nose, but that's not really important because Ganon has one too. So if you believe the legend, you have no choice. You must look for the 5 temples and awaken the 5 sages. 1 sage is waiting for the time of awakening in the Forest Temple. The sage is a girl I'm sure you know. Because of the evil power in the temple, she cannot hear the awakening call from the sacred realm. Unfortunately, equipped as you currently are, you cannot even enter the temple. Well, that's not helpful, but if you believe what I'm saying, you should head to Kakariko Village. Do you understand? I guess. Well, luckily for us, Sheik is actually a guide of sorts in the second half of the game. Fortunately, a little bit less annoying than Navi is, but she gives you useful advice as to where you should go next whenever you happen to meet up with her in the world. So she actually is telling us the truth. So we do need to head to the Forest Temple first, but unfortunately we can't actually enter it without an item that we need to pick up in Kakariko. So we're going to do that first. And sure enough, after 7 years, places like Castletown have obviously been vastly transformed. Now there's a bunch of Reduds everywhere here. And also, interestingly enough, there's no day and night difference in the castle, so this drawbridge, since it's broken, will always remain where you can get across now, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now, there is one other thing I want to do, and we're going to head to Lon Lon Ranch for that. I'm going to ignore that Poe. We'll do that later. That's for the 4th bottle, but we don't have the item actually items that we need to get the pose, because there's 10 of them out in Hyrule Field, and it's kind of a pain to get them. To be perfectly honest, if you're not going for 100%, the 4th bottle is not necessary at all, and I really wouldn't recommend getting it unless you have a lot of extra time, because it's kind of a pain to get. I'll probably wait for a while to do it, but here in Lon Lon Ranch, while it looks like much has not changed, it turns out that all the horses are locked up now, and we've got this guy. Now, if you went inside the other area that was just across from where Talon was, you'd see this guy was a farmhand, but now it turns out it looks like he's the owner of the ranch. There's some rumors in Kakariko spreading rumors that I cheated Talon out of the ranch, but don't be ridiculous. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hardworking Ingo, poured so much energy into this place. Well, as much as I don't like this guy, I will agree Talon was kind of lazy. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Listen, the great Ganondorf recognized my obvious talents and gave the ranch to me. Oh, well, that explains how you got it. I will raise a fine horse and win recognition from the great Ganondorf. Say, young man, do you want to ride one of my fine horses? Pay me 10 rupees and you can ride. Alright, sure. Do you want to hear how to ride? No, I'm good. I'll explain it. So, in this right here, basically, you've only got a minute to ride whatever horse you want. That's Soraya's song, dude. You played the wrong one. Dummy! No. No. Let's try that one more time. But, if you learned Epona song back when you were a kid, and we learned this a long time ago, this is like episode 2 or 3, like, it was a while back. If you learned it, then you'll be able to play it, and sure enough, Epona is still here, and she will listen to you. If you don't play it, she won't listen to you, but then you can ride Epona. So what you want to do right here is, if you're low on money, and that 10 rupees used up just about everything you had, or most of what you had, you can actually use the carrots with A and jump over the fences. But riding Epona is pretty simple. You'd move just like you move Link. Obviously, she can't turn on a dime, but aside from that, she controls very similar. In order to make her speed up, use one of your carrots by pressing A. When she's out of carrots, she will slow down, but the carrots will come back over time. So after you've collected your rupees back if you want to, if not, all you have to do is just be on Epona and then talk to Ingo here. Let's say, I think I've seen you somewhere before. Do you want to go home so soon? Yes, I am done. And then we're going to talk to him again. I don't want to listen, no. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Except we're going to play the right song this time. I think the rupees might have respawned. We're going to jump over a fence real quick and find out. No, they didn't. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'd recommend you have at least 100 rupees before doing this, though, and you'll see why very shortly. Whoa, camera, it's okay. So they say the same thing. So he says you're getting better, and etc., etc. Let's make a little wager, say 50 rupees. So he's going to race against you, and the wager for it is 50 rupees. Now, this race is not very difficult. By not very difficult, I mean it's incredibly easy because he makes several mistakes. I'm actually hitting the wall and still beating him. But there's a point right there where he actually turns too far outside. And if you just keep him up against the wall like this, he will be unable to pass you. You can get all your carrots back, and then just keep using your carrots until you get to the finish line. It's only one lap for the race, so it's very, very simple, and it's very easy to beat him as well. Shoot! If the great Ganondorf found out about this humiliation, hey you, how about another race? If you win, you can keep the horse. Yeah, that's right, we actually can win Epona. So, you would expect the second race to be a little bit more difficult, but it's actually exactly the same as the first time. He moves a little bit faster, and I say a little bit because it is only a little bit faster. You can use the same strategy, just get him stuck behind you to where he can't pass, and then just use your carrots, and he will be able to beat you. I mean, I still got him pretty easy right there. What's up with that horse? Is that Epona? How did you tame that wild horse right under my nose? I was going to present that horse to the great Ganondorf, but I betted on the race and lost.
Oh, I missed!
As I promised, I'll give you the horse. However, I'll never let you leave this ranch. Oh no! Whatever will we do? Well, how about we just jump the fence? Sucker! And now we have Epona. Now, you couldn't actually call her in Hyrule Field as a kid and ride her around, but in this game you can. She is fully usable. And she's not just usable in the field either. There's other spots you can take her. You can take her over to Lake Hylia, and for a side quest that's gonna be, I guess, after the second temple as an adult. Is it after? I guess it is, yeah, pretty much. Then it's actually, she's actually very useful to use. But if you come back here, you'll actually see Talon switch back into different clothes, and he says, "Hi there, how are you? I'm Ingo. I feel so honored to be allowed to work here." Huh? Well, it turns out Malon is here once again. She looks pretty awesome. Thank you very much for the other day. I haven't even asked you your name yet. And then sure enough, she realizes it is you. You're the fairy boy from the forest. That was years ago. Do you remember me? You do? I was sure it was you because Epona remembered you. Oh, I have to tell you about Mr. Ingo. He was afraid that the evil king might find out that Epona had been taken away. It really upset him. But one day, all of a sudden, he went back to being a normal, nice person. Now my dad is coming back. I can't believe it, but peace is returning to this ranch. It's all because of you. I owe you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think if you call Epona here... Hello, Epona. And then you talk to her again. Epona looks great. It looks like you were able to tame her too. How about trying your skill with Epona on an obstacle course? I'll time you for 2 laps. It's pretty challenging. If you miss jumping a fence in the proper order, you'll fail. How about it? Do you want to try? Sure, why not? The current record is 50 seconds. First, try to beat this record. If you can beat the record, I'll give you a present. Give it your best shot, okay? Alright, let's get started. So yeah, you don't have to pay money for this. It is still timed though, and it's just against the fences. It is not against another racer or anything like that. Now for these small fences like that first one, Epona can jump them without having to use a carrot, so you don't have to worry about it there. But keep in mind the carrots do make your speed increase, so... And you will have to jump all the fences, because they said if you don't jump a fence, then you will fail. Dude, I already failed. I hit the carrot, nothing happened. One more lap, yeah, I know. Let's see if it actually pays attention. No, it still didn't pay attention. Alright, well fine. I'm just gonna go around it then. Let me guess, it won't let me finish now? You failed, you have to do— yeah, I know that. That's why I skipped it. I probably should have skipped it to begin with. I don't know what was— it was that same fence twice, too, which makes me wonder why it did that. Alright, do it again. Let's do it. At least you don't have to pay money for this one. And really, you don't even have to do this either. This isn't giving you an upgrade or anything. This is just a little thing that I figured I'd go ahead and show off. And unlike in CS, I won't wait for like a year and a half or however long he waited between doing Ocarina and then coming back to this one extra thing. Just remember, since Epona doesn't turn on a dime, don't get too close to the edge and then just turn and expect her to work perfectly each time. Apparently, whenever it says one more lap right there, you actually can't press the A button to increase your speed either. I'm probably not going to get it this time either. Yeah, I actually did get it by 1 second. Yeah, that one is actually, I'm not going to say challenging, but the time limit on it is pretty strict. You did it! 49 seconds is the new course record. I have to give you a present to commemorate your new record. The present is a little too heavy to give to you here, so I'll have it delivered to your house. Bet you can't wait to see it. To my house? Well, sure enough, they actually do mean your house. It is in Kokiri Forest, so I'll show you what it is whenever we head there, because, as expected, the Forest Temple is in the forest. So we'll be headed back through that way. Now, I am going to go ahead and go to Kakariko, because I do want to go ahead and get the object we need to enter the temple. We're going to be entering the temple in the next video, obviously, because for those of you that are just tuning in, I like to try to start a temple at the start of the video, and then if the temple takes more than one video, which some of the later ones probably are, the Forest Temple will probably take more than one video. And Epona can't go up the stairs here, so you won't be able to use her here, which is fine. But if temples do start taking more than one video, which there is a pretty good chance that that will be the case, then I'm going to be recording them all at once and then cutting them up, so there may not be an intro or an outro between two videos if the dungeon is more than one video. And like I said, I'm pretty sure they will be. Forest Temple might not be, but it probably will. I got away with it for the first 3 dungeons as a kid, but as an adult, the temples are going to be, I'm not going to say harder, well, they technically are harder, but they're going to take more time for sure. So if you go to Kakariko Village, the place you need to go is actually in the graveyard, and if you remember when I talked about the magic beans in the last episode, I said you had to wait over time. Well, sure enough, you do. As an adult, these are usable and you can use them as platforms, and as I promised, there is a piece of heart here. And that brings us up to 11 hearts. Very nice. And if you actually remember the old graveyard, this grave was not here. So let's go ahead and head down in here into Question Mark. There's actually a red rupee, I think, on this side, which is what I was looking for. Yeah, there it is. And if you look over here, it's Dampé the Gravekeeper. It looks like he's apparently passed away in those last 7 years. But he says he may not look like it, but he's confident in his speed, and so he challenges you to a race. So all you've got to do here, despite the fact this is on a timer for this first race, it does not matter in the slightest. The only timer that you're on is you'll sometimes come to doors, ouch, which I will show you shortly. One of them is right here. And if he passes through these, then you'll start hearing a timer countdown. It'll just make that little ticking noise that it does sometimes. And if you take too long, then the door's going to shut and you're just going to fail the challenge immediately. Aside from that, pretty much you just have to keep up to him. You can't pass him, so don't even try passing him. Just try to stay on his tail as best you can and follow the pathway he goes, because most of the other ones are going to be dead ends or loop arounds that are going to make you take too much time. But the timer itself is not really important. He obviously is throwing fireballs at you as well in order to try to slow you down, which I don't know why, but if he's so confident in his speed, I don't know why he's trying to slow you down. There we go. So let's talk to him. The time of this race was, well, not really the time, but the time that you finished is 1 minute 4 seconds. Young man, you were very quick to be able to keep up with me. As a reward, I'm going to give you my treasure. It's called the Hook Shot. Its spring-loaded chain will pull you to any spot where its hook sticks. Doesn't that sound cool? I'm sure it will help you. I live here now, so come back again sometime. I'll give you something cool. So yeah, you actually do race him again. One more thing, be careful on your way back. And as expected, here is the hook shot. Navi keeps bothering me, I'm just gonna ignore her. It's probably something like, hey, you need to go to the Forest Temple, but no, you actually do have to pick this up. Which, as he said, was the hook shot. It's spring-loaded chain that you can cast out to hook things. You can use it to drag distant items towards you, or you can use it to pull yourself towards something. Yeah, something. While holding C, you can aim with the analog stick. Shoot it by releasing C. So yeah, this one's a pretty cool item to have, so we'll definitely be making use of that. As you can see right here, we're actually blocked off on our way back out, which is what he said to be careful of. But these are actually Song of Time blocks, which you'll be seeing these in the Forest Temple as well, so get used to seeing them. By playing the Song of Time, you can remove the blocks, and if I played it again, they would actually show up again, but we only need to remove them, so no big deal. And it turns out this actually takes you back to the windmill. And there's actually a piece of heart up here, so I'm going to wait for this thing to start spinning back in my direction so I can jump on here, and then from there, I can jump to that piece of heart. And there we go. Another piece of heart, so we need 3 more for another heart container. And if you go over and talk to this guy, he looks really angry. I'll never forget what happened on that day, 7 years ago. Grrr! It's all that Ocarina Kid's fault. What? Next time he comes around here, I'm gonna mess him up. What? You've got an ocarina? What the heck? That reminds me of that time 7 years ago. Back then, a mean kid came in here and played a strange song. It messed up this windmill. I'll never forget this song. And nor will I, because this song's amazing. This is my favorite song in the game right here. This is the Song of Storms. This is used for... It's kind of an interesting song. Like, in Majora's Mask, it has more of a definite purpose. This is kind of used in different spots. Basically, as the song mentions, it is the Song of Storms, and... Oh no, a storm again! You played the ocarina again, didn't you? Grrr! So yes, the Song of Storms is a song that, in this game, obviously creates a storm. This can be used to find secret pathways. It can also, in addition to that, be used to find... Oh, besides secret pathways, what is it for? Secret pathways and the hidden holes. It's used for also part of the story as well, so it is a required song. But in Majora's Mask, it was more designed to blow away curses. You could get cursed in that game by like bubbles and whatnot, which is an enemy we haven't seen in this game yet. But it had more of a definitive purpose in Majora's Mask, which was to remove curses of any kind. In this game, it's kind of one of those things that you just play randomly sometimes, to be perfectly honest. Still a cool song, though. But either way, in the next episode, before heading off to the Forest Temple, we're actually going to race against Dampé the Gravekeeper a second time, and this time we're going to try to see if we can get our time under a minute, because this can be done right now, so we'll try for that next time. See you guys then.